I guess that's got to be an Arctic Monkeys fan. Croatia. How's Croatia? Seb's in the house. So, welcome. Like I said, 1st of February. I really don't know where that went, but it went, it came, it went, it's gone. February's upon us, and off we go. So, like I said, it's still windy here, Mike, and chilly. You're still in Bermuda, I'm guessing. So that's Ali. For those that are watching this on YouTube, I'll read these out. Yeah, bye-bye January. Hello February. So, like I said, I hope everyone's well. I hope you've had a good day. I hope you've had a good week since I saw you last week. I think last one I did here was with Ray Luzier on Wednesday. And as I said, this is being filmed for YouTube, so it goes up onto YouTube. We put some new stuff up. When's Glenn coming back? You script fans. Wow, we haven't got round to doing repeats yet, Emma. I think Emma's Glenn's biggest fan. I have to say though, Emma, you stuck with me since March last year. So I think that's when Glenn was on last. But yeah, I haven't got round to going around the cycle again yet. But I know there's lots of script fans that want Glenn back up, and I'm sure we will make that happen. And especially as though that one wasn't saved, so maybe we will try and work that one out. Yeah, so I hope you've had a good week. We've got some news and that has gone up onto MikeDolbear.com today. Upgraded some stuff on the site, so if you want to go over there and have a look at that. Thanks for the feedback again with the chats we did last week, and we have got a special chat tomorrow night, which is going to be incredible. Hopefully, it's going to be nerve-wracking, especially as I've had to show this person how to use Instagram. And whenever I spend any time with this particular person, it's always chaotic, but it's going to be fun. So you've got to stick around today to this show, and I will announce my guest for tomorrow night later on at the end of this show. I've also got a giveaway as well. So our friends at Tuna Fish have got us something to give away, which I will talk about as we get to that as well. So there's a giveaway for the best question. That seemed to work last week. I've had a couple of questions in already, which I'm going to go through. A little bit of drum news. Obviously, we had so much news last week with everything that was going on for the NAMM week. So let's start with a little bit of news. So first of all, I've got to get my notebook out, so I do apologise. And if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're watching this on Instagram later on, which I know a lot of you do, I'm afraid you can't enter the competition. You have to be in it to win it, okay? So the competition will come later. So we've got a lesson to do, a live lesson to do today. We've got some questions already, and if you've got any questions that you want to ask, pop them in the question mark box, and the best question will get a prize. And like I said, I will tell you what that prize is as we go. So I've noticed today, for all the experts out there, that I've got a lot more options seem to have appeared on the screen for Instagram. I've only just noticed that. I have no idea what they are, and I better not risk it. It looks like I can turn the camera around now. But there's other options there, so maybe if there's any experts up there that can tell me what all these options are that have appeared on my screen, then good. So let's talk about a few things. So 1st of February, first one of the month, and I'm going to start by talking about a special celebration. It would have been Almond Zildjian's 100th birthday, and hopefully most of you know who Almond Zildjian was. But obviously Zildjian Cymbal Company have been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. And I might get this wrong, but I think Almond may have been the 12th generation. I think I'm right there. 12th or 13th generation. But anyway, he would have been 100 years old. And Zildjian have done something really special, actually. They've... For those that don't know about, for those that are watching this that are fans of music and maybe don't know the history of these cymbal companies have a vault where they keep sometimes cymbals that they used as prototypes, and then they used to take those cymbals and then they did other models. Sometimes they're just special cymbals that have been collected. Anyway, Zildjian have announced to celebrate Almond's 100th birthday, they have announced 200 Zildjian vintage A cymbals from the family vault. And this is from Almond's personal collection, so this is pretty cool. They're between 1940s and 1950s. They're vintage 20-inch A's. They come in a really cool box. I checked in today with Headstock, which is the UK distributor for Zildjian. Obviously, if you're watching this from other places around the world, which I know you are, obviously your countries as well will have them in stock. I know there is 9 in the UK. Most of the major drum stores in the UK have actually got them. So maybe you could just check in and go over to Zildjian social media page to see the box, because it comes in a nice box, comes with a letter and a little book, and it's got a really nice thing. And obviously it's a collector's item. So there's only 200 of them. I saw today that Pro Drums out in LA, they posted a picture as well. So like I said, check with your local stores if you're interested in that, but it's pretty cool. Also, I want to talk about a product that I've really liked for quite a few years, which is Tuna Fish. So they've relaunched with a complete relaunch of packets, a much greener, minimalistic recycled packaging. So they've got a lot to help out with the environment. But they've also added, so first of all, if you don't know about Tuna Fish, they're called Tuna Fish because first of all, they look like tuna fish. Okay, but quite clever, play on the words. They are tuners. They help tune or hold the tuning on the drum. So here's one I prepared earlier. Okay, so basically, I don't know if you can see this, but like I said, here's one I prepared earlier. Let's take this one off for a second. So this little section here sits onto there, and if you like, the tail sits against the head, and it solves it from tuning. This is where the cymbals are available. Okay. Oh, thank you. So Ian is from Headstock, and he's just put up there all the names of the shops that they're available as well. So anyway, these are Tuna Fish. They're pretty cool. I've always been a fan of these, to be honest. They have, like I said, they've got a new packaging. They've got a new owner now, and they're really cool. And they've done a few little things here. So the pack now comes with the essential pack, comes with a bag, because I've got to be honest with you, that is one of the things that I didn't like, the amount of times I used to lose them. So they come with a nice little pack that you can put them all in, and they've just launched the tone gels. Okay, so the pack consists of the bag. I would imagine there, without adding them up, I would imagine there's about 12 in there, and a nice bag that you can put onto your stick bag or your trousers or wherever you want to put them, that holds it all together. So actually it's a really cool little thing. And the bonus today is I'm allowed to give away a pack. Okay, so I've got their basic package here, which again I would imagine, I haven't really read how many's in there, I would imagine there's about 20 in there. They come in little bands as well, if they fly off, or you can connect them, so you connect them to the tension rods so that you don't lose them. I've never really used the bands. They're a really good idea. I've never used the bands, but I'm a big fan of them. They do come in different colours. So go over to Tuna Fish on social media to check them out. Tuner Fish Lug Locks. Okay, go over there, see their new products. They relaunched today. So you get to win, and like I said, you have to be in it to win it. So if you're watching this afterwards, or you're watching this on YouTube, sorry, too late. But I'm going to ship these anywhere in the world, okay? And we're going to go for the best question, okay? So you can ask me any question you want. Put it in the question mark box. I will do my best to answer it. I've got a couple of questions already, but like I said, any question, and the winner for the best question will get to win this pack of tuna fish. Okay, like I said, I'll ship them anywhere around the world. So, and you get to find out who my guest is tomorrow night, which is going to be a good one. Ian, if you're in the house, you want to stick around. Okay, so I had a couple of questions. So I got one more bit of news. Don't forget, I talked about this last week, but it's coming up for this on the 5th of Feb, the LA Drum Day. So DW are putting it on. There's lots of artists, new products, DW, Gretsch, LP. It's going to be obviously in LA, but you can watch it anywhere in the world, Bermuda, anywhere you want, comfort of your home, on YouTube. Okay, so go over to DW's YouTube page to check the times where you are, and you can register as well. So a couple of questions. So the first one was actually the person that won the prize last week. And I'm trying to remember what the prize was last week. But anyway, it's on its way. And I can't remember. Oh, it was the Zildjian earplugs. So a little more sassy, which I love that, by the way. So a little more sassy. So you asked me a question about advice or on doing your first audition. So you've never done an audition before, etc., etc. Well, the audition process doesn't change whether it's your first or your 100th. And right now, obviously, there isn't many auditions taking place. So let's talk about when we're all back to normal and everything's sorted. So you've now got this time to prepare. Okay, so the audition process has probably slightly changed now to how it used to be. I heard many times, people have said, oh, we used to find auditions in newspapers or online and turn up, and there was 50 or 60 people standing outside and everyone were going for an audition. So I don't think that process exists now. Finding auditions is slightly different, but like I said, it doesn't matter if it's the first or if it's your 100th. Most important thing is be prepared. Now that seems like a logical thing to say, but I do know people that have just turned up at auditions, haven't been prepared, don't know what's going on, heard about it, a little bit blasé, rocked up, and then wondered why they didn't get the gig. You've got to be prepared, and it doesn't matter who it is, whether you're auditioning for a school band or whether you're auditioning for AC/DC. It doesn't matter. You've got to be prepared. Now, what does that mean? First of all, number one, get there early. You can, even if you're having to stand outside in a queue or you're in the studio, get there early. The amount of times I've heard people talk about turning up for an audition and getting there early, they've been set a time, they turn up early and they get to sit outside the studio and they can hear the band, so they can hear what's going on, they can hear what's happening, they can maybe hear the other drummers. That's so obviously perfect for you when you go in there. So number one is get there early. Number two, be prepared. What does that mean? It means find out what kind of stuff it is. So if you're playing in a covers band, for example, ask them to give you a few examples of some songs. Or if you get a chance, try and YouTube it. Go and find some of the music they like. I heard this morning a great story by Greg Bissonette, the great Greg Bissonette. And he talked about an audition that he did when he got the Dave Lee Roth gig. And so Dave Lee Roth, for those that don't know, was the lead singer for Van Halen, or is the lead singer for Van Halen. It's when he went solo and launched his own band. And so no one knew what kind of music it was going to be because it was a new band. And I condensed the story, but basically how he got the gig was that he was new to LA. He was playing with Maynard Ferguson, which is a big jazz band, big band jazz, and wanted to get more into rock, and that was the style of music he liked. So he was set up for another audition with another band, and he turned up for this audition. But when he got to the audition, they said, "Look, to be honest, we've got someone, and so it's a little bit. We're just going through this process for the sake of it. But you want to audition for Dave Lee Roth." And he was like, "Wow, yeah, I'd love to audition for Dave Lee Roth." So he said, "Okay." So they put him in contact, and he went along to he got a time to do an audition. Turned up, and there was about 50 drummers, and he learnt all the songs. He knew you know, he didn't know what he was going to play with Dave Lee Roth, but he learned all the Van Halen songs just in case they were going to do that. So he was standing in the queue outside thinking, oh, there's a lot of people here for this audition. And a friend of his came out and he saw him and he said to him, he said, you know, what are you doing? He said, I've just been in for the audition with Dave Lee Roth. He said, oh, really? He said, how did you get on? He said, I don't think I've got it. He said, they want like loads and loads of double bass drums. And I haven't got the double bass drum skills down, so they want that double bass drum thing going. So apparently Greg stood in the queue and he started practicing all these double bass drums and, okay, this is what they're going to do. Okay, well, I'll get practicing on that. And then another person came out that he knew and he sort of said, oh, hi. He said, where have you been? He says, I've just been in for the audition with Dave Lee Roth. He said, oh, really? How did you get on? He said, I don't think I'm going to get it. He wanted someone that hits really hard. So Greg's like, right, okay, they've got to hit really hard. So the moral of this story is by standing in that queue early and getting to talk to people and find out what was going on, when he went into the audition, there was 2 drum kits. So he dragged over a second bass drum, put the 2 bass drums together, hit hard, and that was it. That was the opening. They really loved what he did. Dave Lee Roth wasn't there at the time. But they loved what he did and said, right, okay, come along and meet Dave. You know, I think I'm going to be perfect. So the point being is preparation. Really, really important. And like I said, it doesn't matter whether it's a school band or whether it's a big super band. Preparation is the most important. Be nice. Turn up, maybe shake everyone's hand. Say hello to everyone. Don't go in like a little quiet mouse and sit in the corner. Be part of it. Talk to everyone, be nice, ask questions, as in, you know, you may say to the guitarist, or what do you want, what kind of thing you want going on here, or etc, etc. So be prepared, be nice, and be early. I hear so many stories about people that turn up for late auditions and then go, oh man, I didn't get the gig because they didn't like the colour of my hair, or I didn't get the gig because of this or that. And it's like, no, you didn't get the gig because you turned up late, okay? That's not a good start, okay? Turn up early, be there, you never know what you're going to hear. In the studios, outside, in a queue, wherever it is, you never know what you're going to hear. So, I hope that answered that question. Getting the gigs, that's changed nowadays. Like I said, we used to audition, see stuff in newspapers or get put up to auditions. But now I think a great way of finding gigs is jam nights, hanging out with other people, other musicians, hanging out with drummers, drum events, you know, just meeting people. Obviously now we've got social media, so you can hear about things like that on Facebook or places like that. So finding gigs is a slightly different process to how it used to be. But again, this is the time now to prepare yourself ready for when everything comes back to normal. So anyway, thank you for that question. That was a Little Miss Sassy. Right, Gareth Plays Drums sent in a question, which again is a great question. Common injuries for touring drummers. Well, for those that don't know me, over the last quite a few years now, I've seemed to have got quite a few, I don't want to call them teaching jobs, or coaching jobs, mentoring, whatever, touring drummers. And we've discussed about that on here before, and I know there's a few Arctic Monkeys fans in here, and you would have heard Matt talking about this to me a few weeks ago. So I get called in sometimes, or I get asked, sometimes by the drummer, sometimes by the manager, sometimes by the sound man, to come in and help the drummer. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm better than the drummer. They need some assistance or some help. The thing about touring drummers is that you're doing the job most nights of the week. Okay, you're in whether you're in a van driving around the country, or your country, or even Europe, or whether you're in, you know, Bruno Mars and you're flying around the world. It's normally done every day. So the biggest problem you have is energy levels. So let's just put you in the picture. For those, again, that aren't drummers that are on here today and want to know a little bit about it. So when you're playing live on stage, obviously you've got to give it everything you've got. It's a 90-minute, hour and a half, maybe 2-hour show. Normally the show is going to go like this, and what I mean by that is the levels. So you've got a finish at the top. Okay, so some people talk about this as being like playing a game of football, and it's like, well, yes, to a certain extent, except you've got to have more energy at the end than you've got at the beginning, because everyone's going to remember the end of the gig. You know, normally the levels of the gig get bigger, the big hits come at the end, etc., etc. So a lot of drummers find that they lack the energy levels halfway through the show. They get tired. If they get tired, they're not hitting consistently, so the sound slightly changes. So the sound engineer's got more work to do, because now he's thinking, I've got to remix the snare drum, or every time they come over to the ride cymbal, the snare drum's going through the roof, and so I've got to change it. So you need to be consistent for the 90 minutes or the 2-hour period. Because also the sound engineer has got a lot of people to take care of. He's got to worry about the singer, he's got to worry about what's going on the stage. So really you want to take that pressure off of the sound person, so that you, so he or she can worry about other things, and you just get on with your job. So the first thing is being consistent throughout the gig, which is a big thing that I teach. And so then we look at things about trying to save your energy. Now this could be various things. Glenn, for those that are up here, Glenn, we talked about changing the setup slightly. For those up here that are still here, that are script fans, I will tell you an issue maybe that Glenn had, and that was that Glenn was having neck issues this side, because for those that follow the script, they would know that the drum kit sits across the stage, so the audience would be to his left-hand side, and his kit would face across the stage, so that he could sing and face the audience. And they always would like a mic-held stand, so he would never be able to, so that he'd have to face that way. And of course the drum kit was all set to his right, so it started causing him an issue, playing every night 90 minutes, as it would every night, 90 minutes. You're on the road, your sleep patterns are normally interrupted, so he would have problems doing this. So what we did first was I went to the management and said, look, can we not get Glenn a headset, get him to sing in a headset instead of looking out there and putting a strain in his neck. And they didn't want to do that. They wanted to, they didn't feel it looked right. So we had to adapt. Now, for those script fans out there, you will now know that Glenn now does sing with a headset. So he can now look where he's going. He's not putting any added pressure to his right hand side of his body. That would be an issue that drummers would have on the road. Like I said, sleep habits are very difficult. They've still got to get out there. They've got to play for an hour and a half. And trust me, there isn't many drummers that I know, or many musicians that I know in big bands, that don't want to go out there every night and give the audience 100%. It's really, really important to them. It may be the 100th night of the tour, but to you in the audience, it's your first night. And so they will give you 100%. And they have to keep that level up. They may not be feeling too great. So that's the next issue. We have to make sure that they can look after themselves on the road, not get colds, silly little things like when they come off stage, to make sure that they go and have a shower, they cool down and don't catch a cold. Before they go onto the stage, they're warmed up, they're eating properly. If you're on a big tour now, catering is pretty good, so they make sure they eat, whether you want to believe it or not. And most of them look after themselves now. Days of rock and roll aren't like they used to be. It's a business, so they try not to drink too much. Like I said, it's a business. So they are all the issues that we have to deal with on touring on the road. So drumming injuries would normally be particular to the answer. So the question was common injuries would be muscles, pulled muscles. And normally that's because they're playing in a different way than they should be playing. They're getting excited halfway through the gig and maybe pulling something. So muscles not warming up properly, not cooling down properly, and not eating or drinking. Again, a lot of properly. A lot of bands now that have got good security normally brings the fitness element to it. again, I remember working with Steve Forrest, who was the drummer for, come on, who's he the drummer for? Ah, forgotten the band. Come on, Placebo, thank you. So Steve Forrest played for Placebo, and his energy levels were not that, well, he struggled during the shows, and they had a great security guard, let's call him security guard, Hayden. And one of the things I said to him, he said, I get him in the gym and I'm getting him to do arms and biceps and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, no, get him off of that. I said, he's playing every night. He's trying to play. The last thing he needs is a workout in the gym and trying to do biceps and triceps, etc., etc. He needs to be doing some shoulders, build up his upper body strength, gently, preferably on days off, more than actually going in there before shows. Bands, but normally I would say, it depends who the drummer was, but in Steve's case, I used to say, like, work on his shoulders, upper body strength, etc., etc., but do not do biceps and triceps, because you're going to wear his arms out. Goes on stage, stronger chance of pulling a muscle. So I hope that answers that question. Like I said, any questions, put them in the question mark box. The best question today gets to win a pack of these. So I'll send them anywhere around the world. So let's see what else we've got here. So there's another question down here. Okay, let's get this one up. So Alfie Summers has got a question. What is the best advice for a young drummer? Okay, I don't know how old you are, Alfie, but my best advice for a young drummer is to have fun. Have fun, okay? If you're still at school, you're doing subjects at school that you don't want to do. Do not make drums that subject. Drums, it's incredible. It's Mental Health Week for young people this week in the UK, 1st and the 7th. And there's proven fact, Mr. Dugmore's in the house as well, it's proven fact that, drumming helps you with mental health. Look, think about why you play the drums, okay? And most of the time, the reason that you play the drums is because you've heard music, you've heard songs that excite you, and you want to play along to it, okay? So that has to be important, okay? Don't ever lose that. Doesn't matter whatever stage you get to in your life, that is why we play the drums. Because we want to sit down, we want to put our favourite music on, whatever it is, and we want to play along to it. So to young people, that's important. Find yourself a good teacher. It will save you so much work. Some people would go, yeah, well, I can't really afford that, and that's fine. You can get a lot of information online, etc., etc. But a good teacher will make sure you don't pick up any bad habits, and will speed up the process by 4 or 5 times. Sometimes you find stuff when you're playing on your own. Later on, you get to a point and you get stuck. A good teacher should be able to help you with that and move you on a lot quicker. But to young drummers, any drummers, it's all about having fun. So please, like I said, that's the most important part. And sometimes if you're struggling and you're doing stick control, or you're doing some paradiddles, or you're doing some exercises, or a drum kit exam that you've been set, or whatever it might be, and you're just struggling with it, then just maybe go in and put some of your songs on, sit down and just play along to them and have fun with it. It doesn't make it, it doesn't matter whether you don't even have a drum kit. At the beginning, back in March, I did a load of play along beginners drum lessons on here. They're off on my YouTube page, Drum Clips. Can you put that question into the question mark box, and I'll get to it just because it flies by too quick. And I'm using it's very, very basic beginner's drum lessons, and I'm not even using a drum kit. I'm using a chair and I'm using a pair of wooden spoons, and it's just playing along to music. Okay, so back to that question. Best advice I give to young drummers: have fun. It's all about having fun. Right, what else we got in here? Oh, cancel, wrong one. Here we go. Here we go. Roll of right, breathe. I don't know what that one means. Okay, what's this one? Okay, so Peter Bittner. How to get discipline to drumming in band. like jamming often. I'm just too sure of what that. I don't understand that question. I don't think. And often react on co-players. How to get discipline to drumming in band. I like jamming and often react on co-players. Okay, I'm not 100% sure what that question is, but I'm gonna give it a rough go of what I think you might be asking. If you're playing in a band, again, any band, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be, you know, we've got, I think Benny Grebb's in the house, and I think Jeff Duggan was in the house. We're not talking about playing in big bands. I'm talking about any band. If you're at school, if you're playing in a pub, if you're playing the drums is about communication. Okay, you remember your role in the band for a start. You know, we're musicians. We're there to support what's going on with everyone else. So you need a discipline. You know, it just I always think of it as a lot of notes going into a cement mixer or into a mixer. Okay, don't just think about you as the drummer and you're going, I want to get loads and loads of notes in here, because the guitarist may have loads of notes, the bass player may have a load of notes, and all of a sudden the whole piece of music is filled up with 16th notes. It's a noise. So you need to remember your role and discipline what your job is. And your job, first of all, is to make all the bands stick together. Second of all, it's to make the people dance and move. And trust me, that's a tricky role. Sometimes it's easier to play lots and lots of notes and trying to leave space. Maybe today I'll do today's lesson on a little bit about that. But trying to make space and support what's going on. If it just requires no fills, I mean, one of the things I do when I used to be able to have less students that came to me, obviously that hasn't happened for 9 months now, but one of the lessons I used to do then would be I'd just put a click on or a piece of music on, and I would make the student play for 3 minutes solidly with no fills. Okay, so try it. 3 minutes, no fills, just play the groove, because that's our role. Okay, that's our job. So there is the discipline. It's trying to do that. I've heard numerous stories, and there's, again, lots of people up here now that would be able to tell me more, but I'd heard stories like, I remember hearing a story once that Gary Moore, the great guitarist Gary Moore, never used to like having a bass drum and a crash cymbal together. So he didn't want you to crash the cymbal and hit the bass drum at the same time. Well, that again is a discipline. You know, you would think, well, that's quite easy, but you do that for 30 minutes or an hour set. That's quite a tricky one. I've heard stories where drummers would say that bands would say that they didn't want any crash cymbals on the one. Again, tricky. So that's discipline. So if you're looking at trying to do that, then test yourself in the practice room. Like I said, put a piece of music on and try no fills, or do a piece of music and try no crash cymbals, or do a piece of music and try and do the exact pattern all the way through the music. And I'm telling you now, that is harder than trying to play loads and loads and loads of notes all over it. That's the discipline. Communicating with musicians, that comes, and again that goes back to what I said in the previous question that came in, where about playing with songs, playing along music. The more you listen to music, the more you naturally hear the format of the song, what you should or what you shouldn't play. The better you get on the instrument, okay, the more you can adapt into the musical situations. But the more you listen to music, you can hear where the verse is going to come, or you can hear where there's a chorus, or you can hear there's a little middle eight here, or you can hear that the bass player's playing goom goom da boom goom goom doom da goom goom goom. So you're going to go doom da boom cha boom boom ga boom. You're not going to go boom ga boom 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 ba boom boom ga boom 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 ga, because it's going against what the bass player's playing. If the guitarist is going janga jack janga jack you're not going to go because it's not going to work. Again, discipline. Working with the musicians. It's teamwork, and you are the major part. You're holding it all together and you're making the audience move. I've said it so many times. The singer does not make the audience dance. The singer is giving them melodies. You took the band away, the audience stopped moving. The drummer, with the support of the band, but that's coming from the drummer, is making everybody move. So if I've got any more questions, chuck them in that question mark box and I'll come to it. But that's a good question for me to do today's lesson, which I'm going to make it up on the spot. So first things first, like I said, questions go in the question mark box because I can't look at the screen while I'm going to show you this drum lesson. But, so, love the sound effects. What sound effect? Have I got sound effects in it? Oh, I see. I thought there was something else that Instagram's now doing. Okay, so this is a good little exercise to help you with your timing, which goes back to that point you just made with discipline. Like I said, this wasn't what I was preparing to do. But, okay, so let me think about how we're going to do this. Right, okay, so we'll do 5 formats. We're going to play, the bass drum and the snare drum is going to play on the 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the timing is going to come from our hi-hat. So let's set the click at the moment at 65. Okay, so this is my Tama watch, my faithful. So the first thing I'm doing to work with that click is feeling the click. So bass drum, snare, bass drum, snare. Now, you have to excuse me because I'm going to try and communicate and give you a lesson here, so my timing might wander. But we're going to start off on my right hand, or sorry, on the hi-hat, just playing 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to double the right hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2. Then we're going to play threes with the right hand. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 4 to the right hand. 5 with the right hand. 4. 3. 2. 1. Okay, so I normally play that maybe 4 times. Now what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and do 1 bar each. So I'm going to do 1 bar of 1s on the hi-hat, 1 bar of 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. Now the hard part is the subdivision between the 2 and the 3, and the 3 and the 4, and the 4 and the 5, because it's not double timing. Bass drum and snare drum, 1, 2. So we're going to try 1 bar. Here we go. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, that wasn't that great, but that's also good to show that that wasn't that great. But it's a good little exercise and it works on your timing. So, have we got any more questions? before I announce the person that won the Tuna Fish today. So any more questions? I'll give you a little 30 seconds, and in fact while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to tell you who my guest is tomorrow night. Do you want to know my guest tomorrow night? Oh my God! Tomorrow night's guest. Dan, 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 dan. Somebody, maybe I should give clues to see if people want to jump in and tell me who it is. So it's someone that's not done, I don't think he's done any of these before. Somebody that I've known for quite a while. Upgrade the price. Oh, hang on. So Tuna Fish lugs have just gone. I can upgrade the prize to an essential pack. So that's a pack. That's the cool little bag. A pack. Oh, it's nearly tripped them all over the floor. A pack of Tuna Fish and a pack of the gels. So I've upgraded it now, Ian. Okay, right. So, my guest for tomorrow night hasn't done many of these before, but is somebody that I've spoken about a lot on here. It was one of my major influences as a drummer. There's pictures of him in here. I've been to his house on a few occasions, taken friends to his house, and have done some very, very cool drum or videos there, which I'm sure we're going to talk about tomorrow. He's a rock and roll star. I don't know how the chat's going to go tomorrow. I don't even know if I'll get a word in edgeways tomorrow. Anyone got any clues yet? Maybe if I start telling you some of the products that he plays, maybe I'll get a few ideas. He was in one of the major bands. Massive, massive influence on me. Ali's got it. So tomorrow night's guest is Stuart Copeland. So 5 o'clock UK time, Stuart Copeland is going to be my live Instagram guest, and it is going to be absolutely mad, because Stuart is absolutely mad. Go and check out his Sacred Grove on YouTube, his studio, which is where he'll be tomorrow. We'll be talking about the videos that I've done with him, which has been brilliant. I mean, there's some cool videos. One of the last videos I think we did was with the late Neil Peart, Danny Carey, Matt Stone from South Park, Thomas Lane, Aaron Sterling, Dave Illich, me. We played brass instruments, by the way. But yes, so Stuart's, hopefully we're going to get him on. I have told him how it works. He's not done one before. And I love Stuart. I always have to be very, very careful when I'm around Stuart, because I'm actually a fan and I'm a bit of a geek, but I never try to let him show that. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, I won't get a word in edgeways tomorrow, and I'm only going to do the one live chat this week for various reasons. But Stuart's my guest, so it's going to be at 5 o'clock UK time. 5 o'clock UK time. I think that's 9 a.m. LA time. He will be in his studio in LA, Sacred Grove. Like I said, go and check that out. Keep him away from the caffeine. Well, that's why I'm doing it at 9 o'clock in the morning. But trust me, he doesn't need caffeine. But like I said, I'm a huge fan. And we shared a drum teacher. We used to go to the same drum teacher. But there'll be lots of little stories tomorrow that I'm sure we'll be able to talk about. Like I said, if I can get a word in edgeways. But anyway, so that's tomorrow night, 5 o'clock UK time. So join me tomorrow. I will put it up here in a minute. So the winner, I liked the winner tonight. I keep pushing the wrong button. This one, which was Alfie Summers, which is what is the best advice for young drummers. So I guess if Ian's still in the house and he is from Tuna Fish, maybe you'd agree. I thought that was a nice question. I think you're a worthy winner, Alfie. So if you're watching this still, Alfie, I need your address. If you could DM me your address, and we'll get this sent out to you. I would work out with Ian where it's coming from, whether I'm sending it out because I've opened the pack here, or whether it's come. But anyway, I don't know where you're from, but let me know. DM me, and we'll get that out. Thank you. My glasses are dope. These, I'm sure many of you know about these glasses by now, but these are the glasses from Jefferson Eyewear, made out of drum shells. And these particular ones are made out of Gretsch drums, with a rap. Okay, Mark Shulman helped him do this one. So I have many a pair. But anyway, yeah, so tomorrow night, or tomorrow afternoon, 5 o'clock, Mr. Stuart Copeland. If you've got any questions, be ready for tomorrow. I'm sure we can get some up there. I don't know if you'll get answers from him. He's like a politician. Maybe he'll jump around it. Alfie, please send me your DM me your email address. Your postal address, and I'll get that out. If you're watching this afterwards, I'm afraid the quiz has gone. So that's it. Just one live chat this week, which is going to be tomorrow night. You've got Mr. Copeland, because after that I'm going to need a few days to go and lay down in a dark corner and relax. But it's going to be a good one. So thank you very much. Thanks Tuna Fish for doing tonight's prize and upgrading the prize. So go and check out the Zildjian new cymbals. Go over to their website or go over to their Instagram and find that out. And then, like I said, there's 9 in the UK. I know Pro Drum have got them in America. I think Mike, that's your local. What else? DW. So the LA Drum Day is on the 5th, which I think is Friday, if that's correct. So it's going to be. So go and check over the DW YouTube page to find that out. This stays up on YouTube as well, so if you want to watch it again, you can either watch it on Instagram or watch it on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining me. Tell all your friends that tomorrow night is Stuart Copeland. Spread the word. We're just trying to keep things going, keep things positive. Like I said, I do know that this week is young people's mental health issues, and I know that a lot of people are struggling at the moment, so we're just spreading the word. Anyway, that leads me to say, be nice to yourself, look after yourself. Really